fatal bear attack in northern Saskatchewan, what we're learning about the victim. The struggle on Saskatoon streets, the strain the city's overdose crisis is having on resources. And a slow start to spring, how Waskesiu is still gripped by old man winter.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. A 27-year-old man killed in a bear attack in northern Saskatchewan has been identified as an independent contractor working at a uranium exploration site. CTV's Laura Woodward has the latest on the investigation and what we know about the victim.
We're learning more about the victim in the deadly bear attack in northern Saskatchewan. His name has not been released, but Uranium X Discovery says the 27-year-old man was working as an independent contractor at its Zoo Bay uranium site. The attack happened May 8th in a remote area near the Northwest Territories border. The company has suspended all work at the site while authorities investigate. The company's CEO says, quote, "Our thoughts and deepest condolences go out to the family, friends, and colleagues of the deceased." The Ministry of Community Safety says the black bear was shot and killed by a civilian at the scene and was taken to the University of Saskatchewan's Vet College for a necropsy, which could help investigators determine what happened.
Bear-human conflicts are not particularly random.
Professor Doug Clark says two factors are often linked to dangerous encounters: bears becoming accustomed to people and bears finding human food sources.
And when you've got those two things going on together, food conditioning and habituation, that's when the odds of a conflict between people and bears go way, way up. Black bears, like the other bears that we have in North America, can at times treat people as prey. And those are extremely rare incidents.
He says carrying bear spray is one of the best ways to protect yourself. The last fatal bear attack in Saskatchewan was 6 years ago, and before that in 1983. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A sobering reminder of homelessness in Saskatoon has the city preparing for what's expected to be a growing homeless population this summer. And as Keenan Sorokon reports, it's looking at how best to respond to the issue.
The estimated number of people living homeless in the city of Saskatoon has quadrupled in 2 years. And the resources to get ahead of that problem have reduced.
Plotting a path forward to help with homelessness and social disorder on Saskatoon streets was before City Council once again, and they heard loud and clear the crisis is getting worse quickly, with more people reacting to worsening drug problems.
My nurse's wish list was better knee pads. They needed better knee pads because the knee pads we had for them doing CPR on overdose response, they weren't fitting the bill.
Just over a month ago, Prairie Harm Reduction shut down and lost its federal license to operate a safe consumption site amid a financial shortfall. First responders say the loss of Prairie Harm is a contributing factor to what Esterby called an unprecedented number of overdoses.
You know, the larger issue is the number of people who are experiencing homelessness, the sheer volume in Saskatoon.
Now, the focus is shifting on trying to maintain what the city is doing while looking for more on weekends and evenings near shelters as services and community organizations feel additional strain on resources.
We're on this steady trajectory of this growth with our unhoused population that is creating pressures in our community. So we're seeing that from an operations piece, from police working with fire, working with the city of Saskatoon.
Esterby says while many things are out of the city's control, business improvement districts can work with organizations like his to limit the impact on the wider area until more is done at the provincial level to tackle mental health and addictions issues further upstream. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The Ministry of Social Services is being accused of providing inadequate supports to foster families. As Wayne Mantika tells us, a Saskatoon foster family says it's difficult to arrange respite care, and the ministry is months behind in reimbursing expense claims.
These Saskatoon foster parents say it's very difficult to arrange respite care when they need to take a break.
We do get paid respite days, but there are not people willing to provide the respite. And when we do find people willing, it is significantly underpaid.
The Grey Eyes were at the Legislative Building to explain what foster parents deal with. They also said they can wait up to a year or longer to be reimbursed for out-of-pocket expenses.
When children come into care, there are often costs that are needed, such as clothing, bicycles. A recent one for me, glasses. Not everything was covered when the child's glasses were paid. Because the system takes so long to reimburse, we had to pay the glasses ourselves.
The government said there are 450 foster families in the province, and the ministry works closely with them.
To not only make sure that what is being provided to those foster families is adequate, but improving on those services, Mr. Speaker. I have officials nearby. We will be arranging a meeting with Kate and Bill. Thank you.
The NDP said the words ring hollow.
They refused to give foster families a break, both by allowing the affordability crisis to spiral out of control, but also by refusing to ensure that there is appropriate respite care.
The Ministry of Social Services says it's always looking for ways to make improvements, including faster and easier reimbursement of expenses incurred by foster families. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Saskatoon police are looking for a man accused of trying to lure two girls away from their families. This is who SPS is looking for. On March 7th, just before 10 a.m., police say a man approached a 6-year-old girl in the car seat section of a store in the 1700 block of Preston Avenue North. Police say he motioned for the child to step away from her family and approach him. A second incident was reported on April 9th, just before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. A man believed to be the same person tried to get a 4-year-old girl to approach him. That happened in the children's department of a store in the 3100 block of 8th Street East. The suspect is believed to be in his 50s. Anyone who knows this person should contact police or Crime Stoppers. A Prince Albert man has been charged with child exploitation offenses. The Saskatchewan Internet Child Exploitation Unit searched a home in Prince Albert yesterday, examining and seizing electronic devices. 36-year-old Matthew Olaf Philip Olsen is facing 2 counts of possessing child sexual abuse and exploitation material. He appeared in court and was released with court-imposed conditions. He is scheduled to be back in court in July. While most of Saskatchewan is seeing spring, the lakes at Prince Albert National Park are still frozen over. As Jasmine Pelche reports, businesses in Waskesiu are expecting a slow start to the season.
Green is normally the color here, but right now there is still snow on the fairways.
Our crew is out there working as hard as they can to prepare what they can for the golf course, but again, it sets us back 2 weeks in just conditions alone.
At the Waskesiu Golf Course, General Manager Tyler Baker says the team is working hard to get the course ready, despite the snow and mud.
We would probably put through a good 700 rounds of golf during the long weekend. So, and there's some members that are mixed in with that. So, it's, the revenue is a good bump for the start of the year, which unfortunately we will miss out on.
Baker says he's never seen so much snow on the course this late in the year. But despite the setback, he's optimistic the course will have a successful season overall.
It's a slow start to business season in Waskesiu, with ice still covering the lake heading into the May long weekend. Businesses say that spring melt this year is a couple weeks later than usual.
It's a few days until May long weekend, when the marina usually sees more than 100 guests. But it sits empty, the lake still covered in a layer of ice. Typically, there would already be dozens of boats parked at the marina waiting for summer. Although the ice has stuck around since winter, visitors are asked not to try their hand at ice fishing.
Thin ice still exists on a lot of the water bodies in Prince Albert National Park, and while people might think it's a funny idea to go out ice fishing on the lake for May long weekend, the ice is very thin and very dangerous.
Parks Canada says visitors should be prepared for snow, mud, and puddles around the town site. The water at Beaver Glen Campground is under a temporary boil advisory, and Sandy Lake Campground is closed for the time being. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Waskesiu.
Jeff, I think a lot of people are bracing for the long weekend forecast.
Yeah, it's a no neck wear Wednesday. We've got ourselves, because it's one of the last hot days we're going to have for a while, especially as we roll into the next couple of days. So yes, Chantal, you're right. As we head into the long weekend, things aren't looking like they would be open to outdoor activities, but that's up to the individual. Keeping our eye on this system, it is developed in parts of the U.S., moved into BC. It'll redevelop on the other side of the Rockies. It already has and continues to move into Saskatchewan. And we're anticipating a robust and widespread storm situation that could be bringing with it some snow to some areas, particularly north of Prince Albert. We'll talk about all that fun later on.
From flooding to dry conditions, Saskatchewan farmers have felt the wrath of Mother Nature recently. But weather isn't the only issue. Tariffs, high fuel prices, and the cost of fertilizer are impacting producers' bottom line. Damien Smith reports.
While Saskatchewan farmers deal with rising fuel prices this seeding season, they're also weighing the cost of fertilizer.
The way we've been able to keep ahead with it is by growing more bushels, being more sustainable. So we might spend more on stuff, but if you do it as efficiently as you can, your cost per unit is actually lower.
Saskatchewan farmers typically use 4 types of fertilizers, and those include nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, as well as potash. Hertz says farming operations like his have seen an estimated 30% cost increase in 2026.
If they pre-price some of the grain right now and then the market drops and they don't get a crop in, oh, they're going to have a problem. Way more risk is attributed to higher costs because you got to somehow make that up.
CropLife Canada says parts of Saskatchewan have been dealing with dry and drought-like conditions for years, but those working in the province have taken advantage of improvements in crop efficiency.
Canadian farmers are very quick to adopt those and always looking for the latest technology that'll give them that little bit of an edge. Pods that don't break open and lose the seed as quickly. There's a ton of innovations that have just been quite transformative.
Patel says another way to cut costs is reducing Canada's reliance on other countries, including conflicts like the war in Iran, by using those kinds of agricultural innovations. Their singular focus right now is creating a regulatory environment for economic growth, with what Patel describes as a receptive government.
Yes, we still want absolutely health and environment protection to be the ultimate goals, but maybe an additional consideration of the economic factors.
We have a lot of regulation, and it's good regulation in general.
Damien Smith, CTV News, RM of Edenwold.
A Saskatoon Wildlife Rehabilitation Group is helping 3 baby owls found near Colville. Hallie Madrick checks in on the orphan birds, and just a warning, the story contains some images some viewers might find unpleasant.
Saskatoon's Living Sky Wildlife Rehabilitation is housing 3 very special guests.
They arrived pretty dehydrated and starting to get thin and pretty hungry. I think it had been a while.
These 3 young great horned owls were rescued from a tree after their parents were found dead in the area. While the birds came into the rehabilitation facility in concerning condition, they've quickly started to spread their wings.
These little guys needed a little bit of extra TLC at the beginning. They're doing really well generally at the moment. They're taking food from us. They get their full mice so that they get all that calcium and all the nutrients.
Now, the dedicated staff at LSWR are working towards the goal of eventually releasing the owls back into the wild.
So we make sure that they can hunt. They know what food is. Generally, we do keep them for that first winter. That first winter is really difficult. We don't generally like sending them out and just kind of hoping for the best. We like to give them the best chance, which means their next spring, they'll be free to go.
One of the steps the Rehabilitation Center takes towards this goal, ensuring that the human features of the person feeding the birds are completely covered.
And that's just to ensure that they don't associate humans with food. We don't want them approaching people. We want to make sure that they know that food does not come from people.
While the process of rehabilitating wildlife isn't an easy one, staff say it's well worth the many hours.
We are working with that kind of compassion component. Having that option to help something is wonderful.
Anyone who comes across wildlife they believe to be injured, ill, or abandoned is advised to give Living Sky Wildlife Rehabilitation a call.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Saskatchewan First Nation is calling on Ottawa to honor an existing negotiated land claim settlement. The Cowessess First Nation says it's disappointed in what it calls the federal government's delay and political inaction. The First Nation says the delay has caused projects to stall, adding the settlement would allow it to have economic sovereignty. A Saskatoon woman will receive the Order of Canada this week at Rideau Hall.
By Cree name, loosely translated into English is Sky Dancer.
Louise Bernice Half, originally from the Saddle Lake Cree Nation in Alberta, graduated with a Bachelor of Social Work from the University of Regina before serving as Saskatchewan's Poet Laureate in 2005. She has also served as an Elder and Knowledge Keeper for the University of Saskatchewan and the Saskatchewan Health Authority. She is a published author and the recipient of many awards through the years. The Order of Merit will be awarded on Friday morning in Ottawa. A Saskatchewan youth is among the winners of this year's RCMP Name the Puppy contest. Earlier this year, kids aged 4 to 14 across the country were invited to suggest a name for the first 13 puppies born at the Police Dog Services Training Center in Innisfail, Alberta. This year, the names had to start with the letter B. 14,000 entries were received online. 13 winners were chosen, including Caden Farrell from Saskatchewan, who suggested the name Bolt. Other winning submissions included Beckett, Bryn, Banjo, Blitz, Bravo, and Bruno. A winner was chosen from each province and territory and will receive a laminated photo of the puppy they named, a plush dog, and an RCMP water bottle. And in case you wanted to start thinking ahead for next year, the name must start with a C. Still to come, a major ruling on Alberta's sovereignty referendum. Also a verdict in a former Mountie accused of foreign interference. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. There are new questions tonight about the future of an Alberta sovereignty referendum. An Alberta judge has quashed the separatist petition, saying the province should have consulted First Nations before moving ahead and that the petition should never have been issued. First Nations lawyers argued Alberta's referendum process is unconstitutional because it lacks Indigenous consultation. Those lawyers argued separation would breach treaty rights. The province defended the process and said the separatist petition should proceed. Stay Free Alberta says it submitted nearly 302,000 signatures, well above the 178,000 required. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says her government will appeal.
Although our government does support Alberta remaining in Canada, we think that today's decision by the court will deny opportunity to well over 300,000 Albertans to have their petition verified by Elections Alberta. We think that this decision is incorrect in law and anti-democratic, and we will be appealing it as a result. Our cabinet and caucus will, of course, be meeting in the next couple of days to discuss the full context and make some decisions after we've had a chance to talk it through.
CTV News has learned the federal and Alberta governments are likely to announce a deal on carbon pricing on Friday. Sources tell CTV News a deal on carbon pricing is the final piece to get a pipeline to the west. They say it would set the price at $130 a ton by 2040 as opposed to $170 a ton by 2030. In November, Prime Minister Mark Carney and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith inked an energy cooperation agreement which outlined the conditions that need to be met for a new oil pipeline to the Pacific Coast to proceed. They're now 6 weeks past a self-imposed deadline of April 1st for those carbon targets. A former Mountie has been found not guilty of foreign interference. He was accused of making plans to intimidate a Canadian man to return to China to face punishment for alleged fraud. CTV's Judy Trin has the latest on the verdict.
In her decision, Justice Martha Devlin said the Crown did not prove that Miker intended to act primarily for the PRC's benefit or that he was in fact directed by the Chinese government. No one can be said to be prepared to do something they had no intention of doing, she said. The Crown's case hinged on an email chain intercepted by the FBI. In the emails, Miker refers to a real estate mogul in Vancouver with more than $100 million in assets. He wrote that he wants to impress impress upon the crook that we hold his future. But Miker's alleged target, Kevin's son, was never mentioned in that email. The Crown said Miker was involved in China's Project Fox Hunt and wanted to pressure Son to return to China to collect a bounty. Miker was arrested in July 2023 and charged while visiting Canada from Hong Kong. Here's what he said after he was found not guilty.
I live on the other side of the world and have for the last 20 years. So without my wife, my children especially, they're still of a young age. So they've been 3 years without their father. That's time I'll never get back. They'll never get back.
5 years ago, CSIS issued an espionage alert about William Miker. The retired Mountie had moved from Canada to Hong Kong, where he had started a business helping state-owned enterprises recoup their assets. CSIS was concerned that Miker was somehow gathering information for China after the arrest of Meng Wanzhou and the detention of the two Michaels. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
It was one of America's shocking true crime stories. Alex Murdaugh, a disgraced Southern Carolina lawyer convicted of killing his wife and son in 2023. Today, another new twist in the case. Joy Malvin has more from Washington.
I'm innocent. I would never hurt my wife, Maggie, and I would never hurt my son, Pawpaw.
The trial dominated headlines and cable news. Alex Murdaugh tearfully denied executing his wife Maggie and youngest son Paul on the family's estate to cover up his financial crimes.
I was on the phone with 911, and I was trying to tend to Pawpaw. I was trying to tend to Maggie.
The shocking fall from grace spawned true crime podcasts and documentaries.
Alex Murdaugh would kill Paul and Maggie.
Another twist in this Southern saga? South Carolina's Supreme Court unanimously overturned Murdaugh's murder conviction, ruling the county clerk Becky Hill, who pleaded guilty to obstruction, had tampered with the jury. The justices wrote the clerk placed her fingers on the scales of justice, denying Murdaugh a fair trial.
Strongest point. I think the jury tampering by the court is something they were engaged in.
Murdaugh claims he is innocent. Though he lied about his alibi, there was no physical evidence linking him to the murders.
He said he deserved to go to prison for what he did financially, but he can't accept the fact that he was convicted of murdering his wife and son.
South Carolina's Attorney General, now running for governor, says the state will aggressively seek to retry Alex Murdaugh for the murders of Maggie and Paul as soon as possible.
Even with a new trial, Murdaugh won't be leaving prison anytime soon. He's still serving a 40-year sentence for stealing millions from his clients. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
More than 1,700 passengers and crew aboard a cruise ship were temporarily locked down in France after a 92-year-old passenger died and dozens of others suffered from upset stomachs. But officials say there is no reason to link the outbreak to hantavirus. Some passengers are now disembarking the Ambition, part of the British-owned Ambassador Cruise Lines. The ship was on a 14-day cruise out of the UK before docking at Bordeaux, France. 48 passengers have shown symptoms of a gastrointestinal virus, and 3 are isolating in their cabins. Meanwhile, 16 people in Canada are now isolating with links to the hantavirus outbreak on the cruise ship MV Hondius. Ontario's health ministry has now directed 7 more people to isolate. The ministry says those individuals are considered low-risk contacts. There are also 3 high-risk cases in Ontario who were exposed to the virus while traveling. They have all been directed to isolate for 45 days. In Alberta and BC, another 6 people are isolating, all of whom are showing no symptoms. The federal government is also implementing temporary measures to prevent any passenger or crew member from that cruise ship from boarding a flight to Canada. A special moment today as students and the Prime Minister met with the crew of Artemis 2 in Ottawa. There were smiles all around and a message about Canada's contribution to space. Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more on the astronauts' tour of the Capitol.
We didn't really see this either because this was so cool.
It was a different kind of moon mission in Ottawa today.
I think we saw that crater.
The Artemis 2 crew giving Prime Minister Mark Carney and a group of students special insight into their epic 10-day lunar flyby mission. 12-year-old Louis Castro Lopez among the middle school students who got to ask the astronaut questions.
Yeah, I watched the astronauts and just to come here, like to meet our school was, wow, amazing.
Fellow 7th grader Annabelle Busby Sheridan did too, and she got to hold a piece of meteorite from the moon.
It was such a privilege. Like, I never thought, ever that I'd ever be able to meet them.
Splashdown confirmed.
The visit to the capital comes just over 1 month after the 4-person crew splashed down safely in the Pacific Ocean.
We surpassed the furthest distance humans have ever traveled.
Following a groundbreaking mission to the far side of the moon that captured the world's attention. Canadian Jeremy Hansen getting a special thank you from Carney.
This is the flag that flew on the day you splashed down.
Oh, wow.
Hansen's trip into outer space was his first, and it was also the furthest any Canadian astronaut has ever traveled.
Canada very much went to space, and I rode on your shoulders.
That Canadian pride on full display at each stop in the capital, where fans, young and old, were inspired to reach new heights.
I want to be the first man, and if it's possible, to walk on Mars.
The Artemis 2 crew will now head to Montreal, where the astronauts will share more about their thoughts on the mission at the Canadian Space Centre tomorrow. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Looking for an affordable space? Then welcome to the back rooms. Endless open concept floor plan, warm yellow lighting, and literally thousands of rooms to grow into. And getting here is so easy, just no clip out of reality. Join us this Friday, May 15th at 8 p.m. at the Broadway Theatre as the Saskatoon Soaps presents The Back Rooms. Get your tickets today at thebroadwaytheatre.ca. Endless square footage, unimaginable horrors, and great parking. Just one question left. What's the weather gonna be like, Jeff?
Eek! That's right, the back rooms. It's a phenomenon I'm learning about, but it's out there. A movie coming out at the end of the month, too. But let's see what's going to be happening on Friday, temperature-wise, for everyone. And, of course, 7 degrees is our daytime high, way below seasonal because we're dealing with the aftermath of the storm that's coming through. Starting to wind down, though, as we get into Friday evening, just some shower activity. BroadwayTheatre.ca is where you can get your tickets. Don't forget, Friday, 8 o'clock is when the show happens. All right, let's take a look at our numbers right now. It's been a hot day. It's been a windy day. Peak wind gusts across the province. Some places, including Saskatoon, in the high 50s, the 60s, into the, I think some places actually peaked out at around 70 kilometers an hour. So it's been a windy day. It continues to be windy. You can certainly see that in our numbers for Saskatoon, Prince Albert, and the Battlefords. And 27 right now in Saskatoon, 26 in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. Saskatoon's almanac, a daytime high today of 29. Did not break the record, though. 18 degrees is typical of this time of year, but the record was 32, set in 1971. The record cold temperature on this date from 1995, minus 6 degrees, and the sun is going to go down at 8:51.
Coming up, off to the races. We meet an Ottawa NASCAR driver revved to put his career into high gear.
Wake up and win with CTV Your Morning and Affinity Credit Union. We can pay your bills with a massive $20,000. You got your daily code word. Watch and win with Your Morning.
Okay, let's take a look at the sky right now. And yes, it's not sunny and warm as sunny as we've seen 24 hours ago or even earlier today. It's really clouded over, and the potential for some rain starting tonight is certainly there. In fact, it's pretty almost a certainty. We're keeping our eye on this system here. We've been talking about it all the time. It's moving through Alberta into Saskatchewan. A lot of the activity is going to be along the Saskatchewan-Alberta border as we make our way into the next few hours. But this system is going to continue to move northward, but on the backhand side of it, that counterclockwise rotation, it is going to really impact many parts of the province. And yes, it's not just a one-day affair. We're anticipating a couple of days at least with this system. 27 degrees in Saskatoon, just to recap, 26 in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. The hot spot in the province, well, that was Rosetown at 30 degrees today, 29.5, I believe. South End, minus 3 degrees is the cold spot. On to our round the province look at temperatures. Current temperatures. 22 degrees in Lloydminster, 27 in Swift Current, Regina, and Yorkton, 26 in Moose Jaw and Estevan. Into central parts of the province, pretty consistent or close together situation with our temperatures. Spiritwood and Waskesiu both at 24 degrees. It does get as warm as 29, and that's in Kindersley and Rosetown. A lot of other places bunching around the 26-degree mark. Up north, double-digit temperatures everywhere. Collins Bay at 10 degrees right now, but 12 degrees warmer in Laurens, where it's 22, 21 in Buffalo Narrows, and 20 in Sandy Bay, Island Falls. And down south, quite hot. Maple Creek, Assiniboia, and Coronach and Outlook are all sitting at 28 degrees, and close to that in a number of other areas. A little cooler in East End at 22 degrees. They may be dealing with some rain in that area. So here's the futurecast, and you can see how close those pressure lines are together. Yes, we have damaging winds expected. There are some watches and warnings we're going to tell you about moments from now. But yeah, that bullseye is sliding across areas just north of Prince Albert, and then there's rain, and eventually we're expecting some snow. I know, yeah, snow. You can see it on the map there. The pink is a rain-snow mixture, and the purple is snow. So the rain and, of course, the yellow, the green and the yellow is straight up rain, and it's there, and it's going to be in full force. We've got ourselves mix of sky conditions for northern Saskatchewan, but quite cold in Stony Rapids, just 3 degrees with a rain-snow mix on Friday. As we take a look at west central Saskatchewan, a lot of rain anticipated. Some places we may see up to 50 millimeters of rain. Temperatures hanging around 14 degrees. Temperatures slightly warmer in the southwest, but a rainy day expected there. Rainy and windy. Yorkton, Regina, and Moose Jaw all expecting rain and wind in Estevan. Breezy conditions throughout the province, but just not triggering any warnings for some areas. And then as we take a look at what's going on for the Battleford, it's dropping down to 14 degrees and pretty much staying there as we roll into tomorrow with windy conditions. And then 5 degrees, just 5 degrees on Friday and Saturday, and then slowly warming back up to seasonal values by midweek. For Prince Albert, an overnight temperature of 13 degrees, about a 60% chance of some showers, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain as we roll into tomorrow, and then a good chance of snow on Friday. Cloudy skies on Saturday and Sunday, getting back to seasonal temperatures early next week. And Saskatoon, rainy and windy conditions tonight into tomorrow. Tomorrow we could see up to 25 millimeters of rain. That's about an inch of rain. And again, windy conditions. And then here we go with our cold, long weekend forecast. 7 degrees on Friday and Saturday, 10 on Sunday. Just cloudy skies, though. And 14 on holiday Monday, 18 on Tuesday. And Wednesday, we've got ourselves showers and 19.
We're all set? Here we go.
Conan O'Brien helping to roll out the red carpet as he gets set to return to host the Oscars again next year. This will be his third time at the 2027 edition, and much of the behind-the-scenes workers will also be returning, including the executive producer for their fourth stint. The 99th Academy Awards will be held on March 14th, 2027.
Please welcome back to The Late Show, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, John Oliver, and Jimmy Fallon.
A reunion of late-night hosts on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The five are known as Strike Force Five, the name of the podcast they started during the writer's strike. While on the show, they shared their thoughts on The Late Show being canceled and the future of late-night TV. Stephen Colbert's last show is on May 21st. And the next season on The Voice is set to get a new mentor. Queen Latifah joining as a coach. The Grammy-winning singer and actress is joining fellow coaches Adam Levine, Kelly Clarkson, and country singer Riley Green. News of Latifah's season audition comes at days after NBC announced Clarkson was returning next season after 10 seasons, premiering in the fall. The 30th season is promising surprises, including special appearances. What? And you can catch the upcoming season right here on CTV.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day. What do you have?
We have an interesting mix. Let's start off with this one. We've got ourselves a nice show. We were talking about ice on lakes in the newscast and yesterday. This comes to us from Keith, and he says, hello, Jeff. About 85% of the ice has gone off Lac La Pêche, and he says, ads, have a great day, and that's up around the Blaine Lake area. So thank you for that update, Keith. We appreciate it. Next picture we have here is from Brenda. Happy to share the daffodils with this little bee. So yes, she spelled it H-A-P-B-E-E. So thank you very much, Brenda. And yeah, those daffodils are looking pretty good right now. And this picture, love this shot. It's a little tricky to take the picture, but this is from David. This is Charlie, our English Springer Spaniel. He wasn't expecting me to throw his ball when I did. He caught it. Look at those eyes. Anyhow, thank you, David, for sharing that image. If you'd like to share an image with us, you can certainly do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca. Please put pick of the day in the subject line. We appreciate all the pictures we get. We can only show as many as 3 a night, sometimes 4, but yeah, it's tough.
Still to come on CTV News, gearing up for a big season. The Canadian planning to take his NASCAR career beyond the finish line. To win a NASCAR Canada race, it takes more than just 4 wheels and a massively powered engine. It comes down to skill and talent. CTV's Peter Sperling introduces us to an Ottawa driver off to a fast start in his young career.
Start your engines and strap in. This is Ottawa's very own NASCAR Canada racing driver.
Hi, I'm Connor Bell, and this is my race car.
A high-performance, powered, adrenaline-inducing machine.
We sling it around the track at 260 kilometers an hour. We've got 32 cars racing us at a time, and we try and battle it out for the win.
And win he does. The 20-year-old beat everyone else during his first NASCAR Canada start last summer at Calabogie.
It made us only the second person in NASCAR Canada Series history to win on debut, so it was a pretty special event.
He's amped for more.
I do it for the adrenaline, honestly. It's the speed, you know, it always provides that adrenaline rush, and it never gets old.
Speed, that comes from power and skill.
It's pretty crazy. It's a lot of horsepower. There's no traction control or ABS in these things. Quite the ride, and you got to manage that power through all 4 gears.
He got into this from his father.
He's been racing most of his life, and naturally when I was young, I was at the track from I think 2 years old onwards.
But how do you learn to drive this and race? Some start with karting. For Bell,
I've had a little bit of a different path developing as a race car driver. I did most of my development on racing simulators. So that's kind of where I learned all the basics.
Racing is an expensive sport. He says a typical car costs near $200,000. That's where a title sponsor, Diamond Storage, representing the Diamond Foundation, comes in.
We were only able to do this because of our wonderful sponsors.
He's kicking off this season at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in Bowmanville near Toronto, and enthusiastic about this season.
Really looking forward to putting on a show.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
When we come back, what the Raiders are up against in tonight's battle, and later, the felines strutting their stuff on the catwalk.
All right, time to take a look at the rural forecast for tomorrow. And it's a little deceptive in terms of the numbers because you go, well, those numbers aren't so bad. Yeah, well, the temperature's on their way down, and they're going to drop off in the overnight and then pretty much stay where they are as we make our way into tomorrow. So temperature's a little bit below seasonal, but the big deal of the day is the rain. And there's a lot of rain out there, and we also anticipate a lot in the way of wind. So please keep that in mind. We'll take a look down south, and temperatures don't really change all that much, and nor do the sky conditions. So this is as I mentioned earlier on, this is a weather situation with a big wingspan, as a robust storm, and it is going to continue to pour down on top of us, not just for tomorrow, but later on as well. Let's take a look at Nacum. 18 degrees tomorrow with some rainy conditions, southeast 30 to light. And you know what? Since you're going to be in the rainy situation there in Nacum, why not be indoors? Because tomorrow we got a note from Ginny here at the library. She is the librarian in Nacum, and they're having an open house at the library tomorrow between 3:30 and 5, and all are welcome to come and see the new look, enjoy a hot beverage, nos on some nibbles, and socialize with the board. So that's going on in Nacum tomorrow between 3:30 and 5. And remember, Nacum is also one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
Game 3 between the Raiders and Silvertips last night in Prince Albert lived up to the hype, setting the stage for Game 4 tonight.
Carter Bear across the blue line for Liskey on the left. He'll fire blocker away, rebound, scores! Julius Mietinen.
Julius Mietinen scored the game-winning goal, giving him 7 points through the first 3 games. The Raiders had chances on the power play, including after a dangerous hit by Carter Bear. But Prince Albert was limited to 1 power play goal on 6 attempts. The Raiders had one last chance to tie in the dying seconds, but the final score 3-2 for the Silvertips. Everett outshot Prince Albert 44-20 in the game. Daxon Rudolph has served his 1-game suspension and is expected to be in tonight's lineup. Game 4 goes at 7:30. The PWHL's Championship Series will be played between 2 Canadian teams with Saskatchewan representation, the Montreal Victoire and the Ottawa Charge.
It's over! Reporter la Victoire! Montreal has its trip to the final!
The Victoire downed the 2-time defending champion Minnesota Frost 2-1 in Game 5 of their semi-final playoff series last night. That means Caitlin Willoughby and Brooke Hobson from Prince Albert and Emily Clark from Saskatoon will battle for the Walter Cup. Game 1 of the championship series goes tomorrow night in Laval. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have signed their first-round pick in this year's draft. They had to wait to sign defensive back Malcolm Bell as he was attending Cleveland Browns rookie minicamp. He started 11 games with the Michigan State Spartans last season, posting 49 tackles, 5 for a loss, 6 pass breakups, and a quarterback sack. It's believed he will be in the next in line behind the current Canadian starter at corner, Tavon Campbell.
Makes no mistake there.
Meanwhile, kicker Michael Hughes was one of 11 cuts announced today by the Riders. Hughes played in 1 game last year, going 2 for 2 on field goal attempts. That leaves American Jonathan Kim and global player Alex Hale battling for the kicking role. There is a big deal in Canadian mining, a merger that will create an $18.5 billion company. Morella Fernandez has more.
Equinox Gold is buying Orla Mining in a cash and stock deal worth just over $5 billion U.S. Combined, the new entity would be the second largest Canadian gold producer, with 6 mines across Canada, the U.S., Nicaragua, and Mexico. Together, they would produce more than 1 million ounces of gold a year. But the CEO of Equinox says he aims to double output. Shareholders will vote on the deal in July. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up a fraction to 72.96. West Texas Intermediate down over $1 to 101.02. Western Canadian Select up over $3 to 81.43. And the TSX lost 249 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Coming up, where felines are taking center stage. And why one playground in BC is a no-slide zone.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Master Chef. Well, this is a no-slide zone, at least for now. Caution tape has been put up at this playground near Victoria, along with a sign saying, Mama Duck at work. Mama Duck is keeping her hatchlings warm and safe under the slide right now. The town plans to leave the tape up for the time being and keep an eye on the duck's health. Kids hoping to use the slide, well, they'll just need to resist the urge.
More swings.
Yes.
Hit the swings, kid.
Yes, I don't think the swings are off limits.
Yes, there you go. Hey, and they can learn something about, being kind to animals.
This is true. Yeah. And there's no snow there, so that's a thing.
There's no snow there.
Well, we know there are many dog shows for pooches to get primed and pampered. This one is all about their feline friends. 150 cats competed in this year's Cat Show Expo in Bulgaria. Judges come from all over the world, handing out prizes like the Best in Show and Audience Favorite. Besides you know, from a place of these showcasing cats, the expo is also a chance to learn about pet health, nutrition, and responsible breeding. They all look thrilled to be part of it, don't they?
There's probably an award for most aloof.
I think that's great. It's funny.
Why not? Why not? The cats can have their shows too, you bet.
Super happy.
Yeah, cats don't like rain and water, and we can tell you that we've got wind warnings in the southern part of the province and rain warnings up north. So yes, please be careful.
Thanks for watching. Have a good night.